The Newcombs and the Arnolds. I dedicate this film to my grandfather Rolando Salcedo. The ripple effect that is done when a water droplet hits the surface of water is how people shape one another's histories. The Newcombs and the Arnolds are an example of how stories affect one another's histories. This document is a bill of sale between friends entrusting Harriet to James Newcomb for 5 years. In this very agreement, marked by time and situations, the two men were bonded by this agreement. James Newcomb was caught in the laws of Texas in 1846, as it was illegal for free black individuals to live in the state. Hendrik Arnold, James' friend, made a hard choice to save his daughter. The reality was that Hendrik Arnold had to sell his daughter for 5 years to James Newcomb in order for her to get her freedom. However, this did not happen. Both men died, leaving Harriet, and what was meant to be a temporary agreement lasted far longer. It did not take long for a person to take back her freedom. Her stepmother came forward, intending to take her as a free woman, but enslaved her once again. When James Newcomb passed away because of cholera, he ended up orphaning a son that was only 12 years old. His name was James Pearson Newcomb. He was thrown into a world that offered no support for him whatsoever. He had no family, he was alone. But despite not having the support that he needed, that most kids have nowadays, he ended up being a lawyer, a military scout, a prosecutor. But first and foremost, James Newcomb was a journalist, a voice in history, writing about what he saw and went through. James P. Newcomb carried so much weight in the Civil War. He had stood as a pro-Union journalist who refused to be silent, even as surging tensions began to boil in Texas. Yet his defiance came with a price. A mob of enraged Confederates attacked Newcomb's newspaper, burning it to the ground in an act of fiery vengeance. Their message was either leave or die. He knew he was not going to see another day if he stayed in that town. Newcomb had to flee. For dear life, he fled to Mexico, then to California, and after a few years, he came back to Texas. James P. Newcomb was now back to where he had once been rejected before. He had become the Secretary of State of Union-controlled Texas. James Newcomb wrote a book of his travels during that time. He wrote every single day, every single time he could. He wrote the book called Sketch of Secession, Times in Texas, and Journal of Travels from Texas through Mexico to California. It was published in 1863. James P. Newcomb is not history alone, it holds danger of free speech. Pro-Confederates burned his newspaper and threatened his life, forcing him to flee. Today, his stand against such oppression would continue to fight for press freedom.
Coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
The history spoken of shows that not everything goes according to plan. James P. Newcomb was orphaned at age 12, chased out of his house by a mob, and then thrown into exile. His life was nothing short of unpredictable. Harriet's life, she wanted to be free. She could have been free, but that didn't happen. Her father made the deal. He gave her to James Newcomb for 5 years, and her stepmother came back whenever they both died, ending her of her freedom. She couldn't be free anymore. But throughout every twist and turn and setback, they managed to find a way to move forward. From being banished, from being taken away of their freedom, they moved forward. Their lives show that when everything stands against you, the only way to win is through courage. We found a person called Harriet in the 1870 census which had a similar background to Harriet Arnold. We would like to think that Harriet Arnold is that person in that 1870 census because, well, Harriet's stepmother came back for her and successfully got her back, being as a servant and not as a enslaved person. Harriet would be a domestic servant to her stepmother, being forced to support her stepmother's household and children. We like to predict that Harriet had no children and didn't marry, this resulting in another prediction that maybe Harriet stayed with her stepmother all these years after she took her because that was all she knew. Harriet did not want to start over with her life if she had already been living in that household.